Welcome to Dungeon Mastering is Easy. This is the show where we show that anyone could be a dungeon master. Hello, my name is Vahid Qualls. I'm the host of the show, and today we're joined by AJ Pickett. AJ is a Dungeons & Dragons YouTube content creator with a focus on lore. Forgotten Realms especially, there's probably very few people on the entire planet that know more about Dungeons & Dragons lore, the monsters, than AJ. On top of that, AJ is an incredible storyteller with narratives that pull you into a fantasy world. It's really great to have you with us, AJ. Thank you so much for joining us.
Oh, I'm blushing. Thank you very much. That was lovely.
And today, AJ is going to be sharing some insights on designing one-shot adventures, which I think is going to be helpful for all of us, new dungeon masters, experienced dungeon masters. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah. You can always pick up new stuff, no matter how long you've been doing it.
That's exactly right. And one other thing is that you may not be able to tell by our accents, but AJ and I both live in New Zealand as well.
Yeah, can't you tell?
All right. We'd love to hear your thoughts on designing a one-shot adventure.
First priority is time. How much time have you got to play? So you structure, like I structure my one-shots in scenes, and I assign about an hour or so, quite a lot of time at the start of the adventure, 2 hours or so for even just the intro where the characters meet each other, even if the characters already know each other. So the first thing you need to do is discuss with your players what characters they're going to play, and what their role and relationships with each other are.
And sorry if I can interrupt you. And do you do that before the session or part of the session?
Yeah, part of the communication on planning the session is asking them what they want. So it's even before session 0, get them thinking about what they want to play, because that informs what you create for them. This is making a session up on the fly sort of thing. So you're custom designing it for you to play something interesting. So your game as the dungeon master or host of the game is creating an adventure like a character. What class of adventure is it? Is it a heist? Is it a mystery suspense? Is it a Call of Cthulhu doom crawl? That sort of thing. So that's the character class or species of your adventure.
Yeah,
and
sure.
then you narrow down to the elements or the equipment of your character. In the adventure, that's the locations, the particular milieu of monsters and NPCs that you want to use. Perhaps you've got a really good idea for a combo of different monsters that you want to try out. Like what do wizard Arania spiders and Eticaps combine well as? Or how do you use like a phasing monster with an environment which has got some tricky traps and environmental obstacles? Do you want to try out carnivorous plants as a theme? That sort of thing. And particularly if you've got players who are playing druids and things like that, it can really impact quite heavily on what your theme is, because you want to give each of those players a character moment where they shine. And setting up a scene in the adventure or an hour's worth of play, which focuses on each different character's strengths, is a really good option. Yeah,
love it. For people that are brand new to Dungeons & Dragons, what a one-shot generally means is an adventure that takes place in one sitting, in one session.
Mm-hmm.
What's your experience in terms of duration? You talk about scenes generally take an hour long. What's your experience around expectations of how long a one-shot should go for or is best?
Typically 4 hours, 3 to 4 hours is a really sweet spot, because you've got a pretty good vibe of somebody's energy levels, their engagement, their communication style, and things like that. It's not a huge commitment for most people. You don't want to go for like an 8-hour thing unless you're a teenager, you know. You need to slot in a break about probably a bit further past midway. Because people will run out of steam faster at the end of the session. So you want to give them a good break, about 10 to 15 minutes, get some food, get up, walk around, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
And also in between those scenes, you want to keep your monologue as the game host pretty minimum. So don't work out a complex backstory for your campaign that's like a 10-page character backstory. You don't want to do that, because it'll overload them right at the very start, and it'll be very mentally taxing for them, and they'll sort of disengage if you just monologue a big lore dump on them at the start. It's unnecessary. What they're really interested in is showcasing their characters and having fun in character together. The backdrop of the one shot is kind of a secondary thing to that. So you start with the cliches. They work for a reason. Start off in a bar, start off in media res, which means
I love in media res. Oh yeah. In
Starting
media
off,
res, yeah.
Like a shipwreck, a ship going down with a tidal wave approaching is immediate pace and in media res action where your characters get to shine because they're immediately in the deep end and stressed out, and so some of their best and worst traits come to the fore immediately. It pushes them to like get into character really quickly.
Let's just pause on that topic. I love in media res, but it's quite possible that people might not be familiar with that phrase.
It's a very theatre kid thing to say.
So, yeah.
So in media res just means in action, in the middle of action.
Yeah. One of my favorite examples of in media res is the beginning of the very first Star Wars movie. Right?
Right.
So this scene sets up the entire 9 movies. The entire 9 movies is established in one in media res. You don't meet the main characters. What you meet is an action scene. You don't know what's going on. Stormtroopers are invading Princess Leia's ship. People are dying, blasting all over the place. Princess Leia puts the card into R2-D2. They jettison the escape pod. Goes off. Right? You don't know what the story's about, but you know, dude, this is going to be exciting. Yeah.
And the challenge there is like, how do you express what's going on in as few words as possible? Just like things that really light up people's minds, and they get to fill in all the details. So getting them engaged and imagining straight from the beginning.
Yeah. So let's brainstorm a couple of in media res examples. You've mentioned sinking ship, tidal waves coming. Awesome.
Yeah, that was a Morkborg, Pirate Borg adventure setting. So it was grimdark from the very beginning, and the characters were all like terrible, terrible people, and even creatures, undead creatures. So that was pace immediately. They didn't need to know why they were on the ship or why they were abandoning it or what they were fleeing from. And then all of a sudden there was just a one disaster after the other that was chasing them and driving them forward. So they had to get off the ship through shark-infested bay with the waters lowering and sharks now visible and thrashing around, running into this clearly very dangerous island, but they had no choice. And they got attacked by 3-headed monkeys as they're trying to climb up into a shipwreck to get shelter from, try to get to high ground.
Yeah.
And then, of course, they run into the ghost captain of the island, who's like a Davy Jones type character. And they managed to defeat him at the last minute and, sort of burn his corpse in a coffin and make off with the loot. And I don't think we even got to the tidal wave hitting. It was that fast paced.
Yeah. Love it. Yeah. Brilliant. A classic one is, that often happens for first level characters is your security detail escorting a cart.
Mm-hmm.
Orcs ambush right away. I'm not telling you what's in the cart, anything like that. We're just into it straight away.
Yeah.
Right? You can figure all that out after the fighting. You don't know why the orcs are there. All you know is that you're being attacked. Go.
Yeah, you can have it so that explain your character and tell us a little bit about your character, and they're blah 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 blah. And as soon as they get a breath in, it's just like, and an arrow goes and sinks right into the cart, right beside your character's face. After they finish saying that, and they're like, "What?" It's like, roll for initiative. Yeah.
AJ has a whole heap more great ideas about one-shots, but first we're going to tell you about the new D&D supplement book that Dice Legends is making called You Need More Orcs. It has everything you need to maximize the orky goodness of your games, including 60 brand new orc stat blocks at different difficulty levels. It also has chapters on social structures and cultural practices, how to build orc fortifications, and for the role players out there, really fun chapters on orc sayings and expressions, and orc name generation tables. Head to the Kickstarter page in the podcast or video description and join the Horde today because you need more orcs.
In that track too, you can be quite linear with a one-shot adventure. In fact, it really behooves you to do so, because you don't want the characters pausing and holding up the adventure if they've missed a clue or they need to solve a puzzle. That can certainly be a part of it, but it's better if failing a puzzle causes something to be more difficult, not impassable. So spending more resources or losing a few hit points or having to go the long way around or having to wade through more monsters than you would have if you had done the thing. Yeah.
One of the things you mentioned before, which I think we'll go back to, is, and this ties in with what you're talking now, is a simple storyline. From the backstory through to the execution of the story, the players knowing what their objective is pretty quickly.
Yeah.
Like, we're not talking about a sandbox game where they can go off and do anything. A one-shot is you start at A and you go to B. There's no C in between.
Yeah. Usually the consequences of going off track or off mission in a one-shot adventure is you stand around and do nothing and your character wastes their time. Which is the worst case scenario, or it's got such dire circumstances for the rest of the party or the adventure in general, like a kidnapped child, for instance. Time is of the essence, and if you stand around waffling on and sort of doing something other than that mission, make them know that they're getting further away. There could be like injuries. The townsfolk who have given the mission could catch them out wasting time and be really, really angry and even attack them. That sort of thing.
This, what you've just raised, is another really valuable technique, which is the ticking time bomb technique. The idea that the characters only have a set amount of time to be able to do whatever they need to do.
Yeah. It's like we have a set amount of time on this recording. And
exactly.
So we've got topics and points that we want to get to.
Exactly. So that's really cool. So just to kind of summarize what we've gotten up to so far, and let's see if there's any final things you have around this. First of all, to plan it out, make sure that you've got preparation time with your player characters beforehand, so that the session doesn't take up that, and that they know that their characters are going to be consistent with the adventure that you have in mind, and that you have a clear theme for your adventure. Is it a heist? Is it a doom crawl? Is it whatever it is? And that the characters fit in with that. Next is to consider in times of scenes. Imagine you got 1 hour per scene, and you got a 3 to 4 hour window, so you probably only got 3 to 4 scenes.
Yeah.
And then go into action or into the heart of the plot as quickly as possible, using things like in media res, simple storyline, and ticking time bomb. And that the clues and puzzles, if they don't succeed them, rather than stalling the mission, just make things more difficult for them.
Yeah. You can be quite brutal in a one-shot. I also recommend, if you've got the time, creating some pre-generated characters for the players to choose from. So that way you're working with a known quantity and you can craft your encounters to suit those characters better, because the complete freedom of people to make very wildly variant characters is really difficult when it comes to game balance. That's why I quite often say that like challenge ratings and stuff are just an illusion, because they work on this mythical adventure party which doesn't really exist. So it's always just sort of maybe.
And one other point that you mentioned before, sorry, I just want to highlight again, which I thought was really valuable for all of us to consider, is when designing the scenes, try to bear in mind, try to give an opportunity for every character to have a scene in which they shine. I think that's a really valuable point.
Yeah, rogues really shine at the start of the adventure, where they have got information gathering tools, and also their agility and things to get past physical objects and work out traps and puzzles and things like that are really good. Mages and divine casters and things are really good for buffing and boosting and avoiding obstacles, flying over things or passing through passages or deciphering mystical traps and things like that. So that's pretty good. What I generally do is I'll have the introductory part of the adventure where they meet and find out what the mission is. I'll usually have a non-player character or an NPC who basically is the exposition of what's going on. They tell you exactly what's going on and exactly where to go. No messing around, no guessing. And I quite often will even skip past the travel if there's no interesting wilderness encounter or anything like that. So they get straight to the location. Then there's what I call the testing out combat. Which is it's usually quite brutal and hard, but it's not designed to kill the characters. It's designed to challenge them and either delay them, make the end fight more difficult, give them some advantage that they can get against the boss monster in the end fight, which is probably the best option. And also just to test out their characters and their dynamics before they get to the boss fight. And then if I've got time, there'll be another scene where they are going through some sort of environmental hazard, or this is the showcase for the big adventure location. This is where you want to do the flashy, really immerse them. They're in an exotic environment, challenge the survival mechanisms in their brain and get them feeling like their life is threatened, because that builds, that just hardwires it into their memory so that they can remember this game afterwards. It's just an instinctual human thing in any game.
Yeah.
And then, of course, it's the resolution where they confront the bad guy. It's a big balls to the wall fight. There's a very good chance the character is going to die. You challenge them considerably harder than you would in a normal day-to-day, in a campaign adventure. Yeah, because they are encouraged to use all of their resources and blow everything. Blow your big spell slots, invest yourself in the big all or nothing Hail Mary gambit, and prevail. It's where their characters become legendary heroes,
Yeah, sure.
So you can pull out some pretty nasty and layer. Don't just give them one target, one big boss monster. Layer it with minions that get in the way, spellcasters and ranged attackers make them seek cover, split them up, make the ones whose abilities are the best for this separate from the group and have to go and do that at the same time that the others are doing something else. So they are busy. They are busy. They're not just focused on slog, wait. They've all got something to do.
It's not just a 40-foot by 40-foot room with a couple of columns and a big monster in the middle.
Yeah. If you haven't caused them to sit for about 15 minutes talking amongst themselves about how they're going to handle it, then you're not doing it's not complicated enough.
Hey, those are great insights. Thank you so much, AJ. That's brilliant. I think we've all gained some from that. To wind down, the last thing we want to do in our stream is we've got a regular segment called In a World. Okay. And so what we're going to do is we have some world-building prompts, wacky and weird, that people that are Patreon supporters of the Dice Legends channel have sent in. And we're just going to randomly determine these. We're going to pull out some of them, and then we're going to give ourselves a very short time frame of a couple of minutes to try to somehow merge it into a cohesive world, and we're going to finish it off with a movie trailer in a world thing. All ready?
Right.
Okay, so I'm rolling 4d20 here, and then that will determine what our things are. I got a 2, an 18, a 16, and a 4. 2, 18, 16, 4. Okay, first one. Everyone hears a song. I don't even know what that means. I don't know what that means. Next one is Death Opens Portals. I don't know what that means even, but okay. Next we have is The Sun is Dying. Oh yeah, baby.
Oh, nice.
And finally, spirits are farming humans.
Oh, that all works out perfectly.
Okay, so let's. Okay, so those are our thing. We got. Everyone hears a song. Death opens portals. The sun is dying, and spirits are farming humans. Very Matrix. What do you think? What are you thinking?
I'm already structuring this as a one shot. Okay, so the song is a Feywild virus.
No.
Specifically being designed by the Fey to lure, like the Pied Piper luring rats out of the city. Any person that hears this, make it maybe dependent on age, so children are more vulnerable, and wistful old ladies will, the music, and and the adventurers, the stalwart adventurers, are the only ones who are resisting it.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
what's going on with these people?
Yeah, and the spirits that are farming the humans are the Feywild folks, right?
The Feywild, yeah. So the perhaps the sun is dying in the Fey.
Yeah, love it.
Because people have stopped believing in them and telling the old stories. And death opens portals
to the Feywild or something.
To the Feywild, yeah, obviously.
Well, that was so easy to tie in. I am impressed how quickly we were able to tie that in. Okay, so now, we can tag team this in a world. We ready to narrate this baby?
Sure.
So, guys in the audience, if you're listening or watching this, be merciful, right? Come on. You've seen the prompts just as long as we have, all right? Okay. Do you want to go first or do you want me to go first?
In a world where the Feywild is dying,
their sun, once living, is fading away as people in the material plane have stopped believing in them.
They have sent in an evil song which captures the hearts and minds of children and the old folk.
As that song takes control of their minds, luring them patiently, persistently towards death.
The heroes must walk into the jaws of death itself to rescue the townfolk, save the day, and tell a new story.
Dun, 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 dun! Love it.
About a drive-through RPG tomorrow.
Yeah. Love it. Hey, this has been a super fun chat. Thank you so much, AJ. Just to wrap up, please let our audience know how they can connect with you with the wonderful content that you create.
AJ Pickett on YouTube. That's my main jam. And if you are interested in discussing all things role-playing games and lore, I have a Discord channel that's very active. And I've also got a Fourthwall channel, Fourthwall site where you can buy merch, and there's exclusive content for supporters there. People who are annual supporters get to submit commissioned video ideas to me that I will make big, long, extra 40 minutes worth of content for them. So they can commission me to make lore topics on very obscure and deep and dark stuff.
Wonderful. The links are in the description of this podcast and video. Check out AJ, give him a follow, give him a like, and share it with everyone. You won't regret it, and neither will everyone that you know that plays D&D. Just to wrap up, it's been great having you along for our little adventure. And if you want to support the Dice Legends channel, head over to our Patreon page, link down below. You can be a follower for free, or there are 3 simple tiers of ways that you can support us financially and help to keep the lights on. But for now, hey, dungeon mastering is easy. Anyone can do it. Have a go, and we'll catch you on next episode. See you later.